There's something we must do in every persuasion conversation, whether that is in persuasion in print or persuasion in face-to-face or even persuasion on a video. And if we miss it out, then unfortunately it can result in missing sales. Well, hello there, my name is Peter Thomson. I'm delighted to be with you today and have this opportunity to share with you yet another tried and tested and proven idea. Over the last 27 years since I sold my business and semi-retired, I've been helping coaches, consultants, speakers and trainers to build for themselves a business and a life of choice, sharing their knowledge, their experience and their expertise through various informational products. And this idea today is really important. Imagine the scenario. So you're meeting with a client, say. We'll do it on the basis of a face-to-face meeting, but then we can talk about it later in this video about how you use it on video. So you're meeting with a client and you've done your basic opening, you've got an agenda, you've gathered information to understand what their problem is or the opportunity that they're trying to capitalize on, and you've put forward your proposal and your ideas and you've asked them to go ahead and they say no. What could be one of many causes that could create that no answer? Well, here's one that I'd like to talk with you about today, and it's this. And it's based on an expression that a friend of mine, a brilliant copywriter by the name of Jason Jackman, told me many years ago, and it's this one. An undisturbed prospect never buys. Let me say it again, as I didn't say it very well the first time. An undisturbed prospect never buys. So what may have happened in our persuasion in print or persuasion in person conversation is that unfortunately we did not disturb that person enough. So how are we going to disturb them? Well, there's one simple way, and that's crafting appropriate, detailed, powerful, simple to ask questions. The sort of questions that get people to sell themselves on the idea. Remember, we don't have to convince people, we have to be convincing. That's very, very different strategy, isn't it? Don't try and convince people. You know, what's the old expression? A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. So we don't want to convince people against their will. No. So what we want to do is to craft careful questions that get people to understand that they're missing out on something particularly, or that's a problem that they're not solving, or in the future they could have this result but they're not going to. And the way we do that, the powerful way to do that, isn't to make statements, it's to ask questions, so that when somebody answers our questions they understand for themselves that they're going to be disturbed in some way. Let me just check my notes for a moment. Yes. This is how we can create what I call a disturbance in the field. If you talk to somebody about where they want to be in the future, before you talk about where they are now, and then you talk about where they are now, then you create a gap between those 2 points. And the gap has a feeling, has a momentum of coming this way, back to the present from the future. Back to the present from the future. And that for me creates disturbance in the field. I know that you can take this idea away and think about it and use it, but let me just summarize. It's quite simple. As Jason says, an undisturbed prospect never buys. And how do we disturb that person? With integrity and honesty. We do it by asking questions. So we're not the one doing the disturbance, they're the one doing the disturbance by their own thoughts and their own answers to our well-crafted questions. And creating that disturbance in the field, as I like to call it, is we do it by talking about the future before we talk about the present. And that way we get that ripple back to today, which creates the disturbance for someone to take action. Well, I urge you to take this away and use it. It's really powerful. If you've got any comments at all, just put them down there and we can start a dialogue. And in the meantime, I continue to wish you every success in all your adventures in life as you have freedom from anything that may have held you back and freedom to be, do and have whatever you set your heart and mind upon. Always in that order, be, do and have. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.